All right. I am here. I am late for my start that I already pushed back 10 minutes. So yeah, just give me 30 more seconds here, guys. I just have to put the update out on my community tabs and all that jazz. Uh, all right, I'm caught up. Let's get down to this. Yeah. Okay. Give me a minute, catch up, see what you guys have been saying, and then we'll get going. Hello, Maya. Hello, DC World. Hello, Skinny. Hello, Laura. Hello, Laura. Hey, you guys came in together. It's good to see you guys doing that so I don't get confused later. Hello, D. Marie. Hello, Skinny Boy. Hello, Arrowverse. Hello, Malik. Hello, You Can't. Hello, The Destroyer. Hello, Defunct. Hello, Victor. Hello, Lionel. If I have missed anybody, I'm sorry, but that's all I see at the moment. All right. Still have a bit of an annoying little annoyance in my throat. If you guys were on my live chat yesterday for the live reaction on the Flash, you know, I cut my discussion a little short at the end because I was feeling agitated. I kind of still am feeling it today. I don't think nearly as bad as yesterday, but still there. Hopefully it just sorts itself out once I'm talking for a few minutes. All right. So, some things happened this week, and maybe okay. I'm gonna get Batwoman out of the way first because I don't have a lot to say, and part of that is because I didn't get to see the whole episode because my internet connection was just atrocious tonight. I don't know if it was the site I use was buggy or if just Shaw was being crap, but yeah, I mean I saw most of it. I still saw probably 70% of the episode, but I missed some stuff. So I'm not gonna, and to be honest, after how good the last couple episodes were, this one was just okay. I didn't hate it, but it was not. I wasn't oh wow every 5 minutes. There was definitely some oh wow moments, like Marcus stealing. Oh, before we get started, if you are watching Batwoman still, or plan to watch Batwoman, and don't want to hear any spoilers, I'm about to talk spoilers, and I will post in the chat when I'm done finished with spoilers. I'm even going to type the message out now so it's ready to press enter when I'm done. Okay, so we're going to talk Batwoman spoilers for a minute, then I'll read through the super chat, then or the chat, then we'll move on to the next topic. So a few crazy things did happen. There were some oh wow moments. I just, for a mid-season finale, didn't feel as wowed as I have for other ones. Sorry, I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye. We got to see Marcus. He stole Wayne Enterprises straight up from under Ryan. Also, that she could get stabbed in the back by Mary 2 minutes later. So a tough day for her. I mean, she isn't having a Barry Allen level day, but she is definitely having a Barry Allen-esque type day. We'll get into the Barry Allen stuff in a bit, but so Marcus Jett is now the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. He has cut off the entire team from the building, so they don't have access to the Batcave anymore. All they have is the Batmobile and the Batsuit. That's a crazy one. We did get to see Luke and Marcus have a bit of a fight, but Luke was already hampered because he had an injury going in. But even with a bad arm, he kind of held his own against Marcus. So I think we'll see another battle between them down the road when Luke is healed and he can go more toe to toe. We, of course, I guess the main topic of this episode was Mary's transformation into Poison Mary, I guess we want to call her. Can't call her Poison Ivy because we know there's an actual Poison Ivy coming in. I haven't been the biggest fan of this storyline yet, and I kind of still maybe not, but she looked amazing, fucking amazing in that suit at the end, so I guess there's that. Her and Alice together on the road, figuring out how to get the nanotech out of Alice's bloodstream was all right. We have Alice on the loose again now officially. Alice doesn't have any trackers in her. And even if she did, Luke doesn't have access to track it anyway. On top of that, Mary is full-on transformed into Poison Mary. She's got her own little costume that you might have seen in my thumbnail before the video started and all that jazz. Was there anything else interesting in the episode? I'm sure there is. I think, I saw, like I said, about 70% of it, but I think I retained only about 30% because of how many times my internet froze up. I think I spent most of the episode, I think most of my focus was being annoyed at my internet, so I wasn't maybe getting to see the whole episode. So I might need a full rewatch of it just to take in something more than I have to say on it right now. Maybe some of your comments will trigger something, but at the moment, that's all I have to talk about. So, Batwoman spoilers finished. All right. Let's see what the chat's got to say. I do see we had a Gary Gammon super chat down there, so let's get to that. And then we will work backwards. Oh, we have a couple of them. Is The Flash getting delayed later than March? I'm going to answer that and your other super chat in one fell swoop here, Gary. Your other super chat is Joe really dead? Well, I can tell you that Joe West has been delayed until March. So, obviously, most of you that are here probably see my site on a regular basis when I post spoilers. We know Joe is still on the show, and he was signed as a season regular. I've shot him on set this season for episode 6, which is in March. So Joe has been delayed until March. Now, I also know, based off of what Eric Wallace, Rick Cosnett's, the article on Rick Cosnett when he was brought back in and all that, sounds like that's a flashback episode. So we will see where that leads. All I will say is Joe is still signed on as a series regular for this season. They're not signing you on as a series regular for one episode. That's all I'll say on that. All right. Now let's see what the chat's been saying. I'll catch up to 5 or 10 minutes of chat and hopefully move on. Maya, I'm so bored, but Hawkeye and Flash was good. That's good to hear. A bunch of hellos. Hello. Have I seen Hawkeye? Yes. I saw it this morning. We will get to there in a few minutes. Your thoughts on Batwoman app tonight, even though I saw on Twitter that your internet was bad. Mine too. It was so bad I almost wanted to smash my router. At one point in the middle of the episode, and I never do this, I always try and fight through it because I know I'm losing like 3 to 5 minutes of time when I do. I gave up tonight and turned off my computer and restarted it, hoping that would help. It did not. So that was 3 to 5 minutes I lost on a gamble that didn't pay off. That's how bad it was tonight. And I don't know why. At this moment, I don't know why. So you heard my thoughts on Batwoman tonight. They're incomplete. Hopefully later I will watch it again through someone's reaction channel, and I will have 30% better idea what is going on. Did you all see the synopsis for episode 5? Now, at this point, I mean, I almost never read synopsises because I don't care. Like, they're not going to tell. A synopsis is a thinly put together description of loose details they sort of kind of technically want you to maybe know about, but not be able to possibly kind of sort of understand. So I quit caring. I know they are like catnip for the theory video people and all that, and I understand that, and I understand there's people that love to see some idea about it. 95% of people just are like, oh yeah, okay. And I'm kind of in that boat. I'm kind of like, sure. So I didn't read it. I mean, I'm sure I will eventually. I'm sure at some point, whether it's an after party or just somewhere else, it'll come across my eyeballs and I will see it, but I don't go looking for it. Asking because I have a theory prediction and I want to see what you all think about it. Synopsis, episode 5. Yeah, let's see what this says. Do you guys just want me to show this on screen and you guys can read it yourself? Give me a second here. I'm just yanking this off Twitter. I'm not even looking to figure out where it came from because it's pretty common information, so it's not like it's something exclusive. Let's try that first. All right. We will read this together after I figure out how to get this going here. There we go. All right. You know what? Let me try and make me smaller so you can maybe read that better. It's just annoying. Does that work better? There we go. You probably can read it now. The exciting conclusion to the 5-part Armageddon event brings the return of Mia Queen. Notice it says Queen, not Smoke. Thank you, whoever wrote this, for getting it right. The conclusion to Armageddon presents an opportunity for the Flash Grant Gustin to end his lifelong battle with Reverse Flash. Guest star Tom Cavanaugh for good, but the payoff could be too much for Barry and team to handle. Okay. Meanwhile, Mia, guest star Catherine McNamara, drops in from the future looking to save a lost loved one. Okay. And she won't let anything stand in her way. Okay. Minaj Huda directed the episode written by Kristen Krim. Minaj Huda was also directing one of the earlier episodes that I was on set for. That's interesting. Okay, the rest of it's just jibber jabber. That's a very vague, and I mean, I'm not surprised. Very vague synopsis. I don't have anything in there that I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe. Like, the Mia thing is a little weird, but I don't have anything more than weird to call it at the moment. But yeah, feel free to ask me what you wanted to ask when I finally get there, which I'm currently 16 minutes behind the chat. So just know it's going to take me a few minutes to get to your question. Do you really think that Joe is... Okay, we're going to move into the Flash because I know 60% of the questions in here probably have something to do with that. All right. Last night, part 2 was fucking balls out nuts amazing. I compared it to an episode of The Twilight Zone. If you've never seen The Twilight Zone, and I'm not talking the new one because I didn't even watch the new one, but I know it obviously wasn't very good because it only lasted 2 seasons. This is a show from back in the 50s that was redone a couple of times in the 70s and 80s or something like that. Brilliant show. Where things just aren't as they seem, and there's usually, some weird, odd thing going on. Last night's episode was kind of like Barry was trapped in the Twilight Zone. Just weird thing after weird thing after weird thing happened. And it's like he's living in an alternate universe, although here we call it a timeline, because think of all the craziness that happened at once. He first loses his job. Kramer comes to a scene that he goes to and is like, hey, by the way, no, you don't work here. Give me your credentials. Also, Barry, just a little warning, you're being investigated for federal crimes. Just a typical, Tuesday for Barry. But he had been warned by Despero that tomorrow was going to be like the end of his, like the start of him going crazy. And but Despero told him, he goes, I don't know why. He goes, I just know this is when it starts. That's interesting because I saw some people online, they're like, Despero's doing this. I'm like, Despero doesn't know why Barry goes crazy. He just knows that that day is the day where it starts happening. We have a super chat though. Let me get there. And 840. I haven't even moved 1 millimeter in the chat. All right. Where did this go? Did I scroll past it? Did I scroll too far? Okay, it's past there. We have Defunct with, I believe, your first ever super chat on here. Armageddon is cray in a good way. Thoughts? Mostly just showing support right now because I can appreciate your work, D. All right, thank you. Yeah, it has. I mean, episode 1 was pretty good. Episode 2 is on another level. I don't even know what to like. Episode 2 was, cray. And I'm slowly working my way through talking about it at the moment. So Despero told Barry, like, I don't know what's going on in your life, but tomorrow some shit happens and this is when you start to lose it. And Despero was there for a couple of, like, showed up to watch and see what's going on. Maybe he was there to watch and be like, okay, he didn't just go evil for the sake of going evil. He went bad because this pile of coincidences happened all at the same time. I kind of wonder if that's what he was doing. He was maybe judging why Barry's going crazy. Because remember, he's given Barry a stay of execution of 7 days because when he read his mind, he's like, you don't look evil. So let's see where this goes. So he's going around. He first goes to there to be like, I got fired. Well, that's cool. A little later, he decides he's going to go talk to a security guard that went crazy at the scene because he's like, it can't be a coincidence that I'm supposed to start going crazy and this guy goes crazy on the same day. So he goes there and the guy starts just yelling Zotar over and over again. So Barry gets a call from Team Flash and is like, hey, we have a problem. And he's like, oh, good, because I have a problem. And that problem is, I think I have a lead. And they're like, yeah, no one cares about that anymore. And he's like, but why? And they're like, oh, you know that place we've been working out of that's really highly secretive, that would be a big problem if someone found it and like learned all the things we're doing here. And he's like, oh, you mean like the lab? And he's like, and they're like, yeah, that place. And he's like, oh yeah, that's no problem. They're like, well, it's a problem now. Maybe you should get here and deal with it. And he's like, what? And so he goes there to find out Star Labs is getting closed down by the city or the state or the government. I didn't even learn what title that guy might have. The reason is there's a radiation leak. And they're like, no. And Chester's like, no. Then Chester's like, you know what? Maybe. Then Chester's like, oh, damn, our equipment's busted. And so, yeah. So they had 5 minutes to evacuate. Somehow in 5 minutes, they managed to get enough pieces of stuff together to take out of there that they still can semi-work. But more importantly, Barry had enough time to go into Gideon's room, have one last good little chit chat with Gideon, get Gideon to set some protocols to block off parts of the building from being visible during the tour, and then killed Gideon. I mean, Gideon told him he had to kill her, but he still killed Gideon, which means Gideon has to be rebuilt at some point, and I have a hunch I know who might be doing this. So yeah, Star Labs, not theirs now. I doubt that's a long-term solution, although I will also say I haven't seen them film at Star Labs this season. Exteriors, I mean. Obviously, interiors would be in the studio. So Barry's sort of bad days ramping up. You know, he lost his job, lost his business. Probably nothing else you could take from him, right? I mean, his family's okay, right? So, you know, he focuses on trying to take down Zotar. Fails the first time. Oh yeah, the first time he tried taking down Zotar, she sends him back to the house where the team was hanging out, and the team's like, "Dude, you are messing shit up. We have to take you down." And he's like, "But no, I didn't." And they're like, "But we saw you." So we'll get into theory crafting on that in a few minutes. Then he gets a second crack at trying to take down Zotar, and this time does by doing one of the cooler displays the Flash has done with an electrical surge thingy that just like blew out everything. Sure, don't worry about the fact you blew out windows and probably every property within a block of there. Mild technicality. You got the villain. So Flash takes down the villain. Big hero. Look cool. All right. We finally got a W on the board. You know what? You know what'd be cool to do after having a big W on the board? Go to Joe's and have some food. Joe's a good cook. We'll just go hang out at Joe's, celebrate getting a W after a long day of L's. The team seems upset by this decision. I don't know if they are vegan and he doesn't do good vegan food. I don't know what it. But they're just like, you know, no, that's not cool, Barry. And he's like, but why? And they're like, well, I mean, besides him being dead, you know, it's just not cool. And he's like, dead who? And they're like, oh, you know, Joe, like, because he's been dead. And they're like, you know, Joe that died 6 months ago? He's like, no, Joe's alive. I know Joe's alive. And they're like, but no, he's not. So he then decides to like zip on over to the house, decides to like, instead of going at an eighth of the speed he needs to go so that he's not wiping stuff out around the house, he decides to go in there at hurricane speed, knocking around papers and all sorts of shit, scaring Iris. And Iris is like, dude, calm the fuck down. And he's like, just tell me where Joe is. And she's like, oh, he's on the mantelpiece. And he's like, the fuck? And they're like, yeah, that plaque, the little flag that's on there, that's for Joe, you know, from when he died. And Barry's like, but he didn't die. And they're like, dude, he dead. And Barry's kind of just having a moment where he's like, no. And Iris was like, yeah, remember you gave his eulogy? And he's like, no, I don't. And Cecile pops in and she's like, dude, why are you being an asshole? And Barry's like, because he live. And they're like, no. And he's like, yeah. So that's where that ended. And then what am I missing? What happened after Joe? I have a pile of post-it notes. Why don't I look at those? Oh yeah. So then, while they're still processing that, Iris goes to him. Is like, "Hey, dude, you on the news?" And he's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I saved a kitten from a tree today, and I helped an old lady cross the street with her groceries, and oh, I also took down that Zotar dude, chick." And they're like, "Oh, it also looks like you attacked a reporter and some random people with lightning." It's like, no. And so they show the news. There he is out there, just like trying to kill people, and just typical Flash stuff, just wrecking the city. So that happens. Then they go to they're out of order. They were in order on my desk at one point. Okay, those ones I already went through, or more or less. Okay, we're off to the final page finally. So we get Alex and Caitlin having a chit chat, and in that, Caitlin or Alex tells them that Kara and John, so Supergirl and Martian Manhunter, are not on the planet right now. Okay, I mean, why? I get that you have to explain why they're not in the show, but that just adds more questions on where the hell is it? Why? Um, then we get to the final scene where Barry goes, Despero comes to try and kill Barry finally. He's like, you know what? It's time. You've proven you're a villain. Let's do this. And he zaps him once, doesn't kill him somehow, even though apparently the whole test earlier was to decide how much power he needed. Then Chester and Allegra come in and save him when Zotar was about, or Despero was about to do it the second time. And they tell Barry, like, you need to go. Barry's like, I need to go. And he runs out of the house. And Despero is very frustrated now. He doesn't understand why the team would defend this guy who clearly is a villain. And the last scene we see is Barry's at the Hall of Justice, wandering around, looking at the eternal flame for Oliver and making sure the chairs are clean and stuff like that. And someone else walked in. Someone else is Black Lightning. Black Lightning's like, hey, what's going on? You look glum. And Barry's like, I've had a bad day. He's like, tell me about it. It's like injustice. And then it goes to be continued. So we're all caught up on that now. You're all caught up. I probably missed a detail or two because I have 5 post-it notes worth of content I talked about, and I forgot half of it. All right. Let me see if I can catch up to the chat a little bit. I am now currently 33 minutes behind the chat. Awesome. Happy early Thanksgiving in the US. Yes, I guess that's technically, I think that is that today or tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, it's not Thanksgiving in Canada, so I don't know. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. No, it'd be tomorrow. It's usually a Thursday, right? Thursdays are Thanksgiving. Okay, so Laura, way back, that got me started on the synopsis for last night's episode was kind of like, do we really think that Joe is dead and we will only see him in flashbacks this season? I don't think so, because it would be hard to do that many flashback scenes. I mean, that's a lot of flashback scenes to have someone for. This isn't Arrow. They don't do flashbacks on the regular. Not impossible, though. I will say it's not impossible. The more I've thought about it, I have thought, I'm like, they might do this. They might do this, but they'll drag it all out all season until the finale we find out what happened. I think that might be a possibility. We might get flashbacks. or maybe Barry will hallucinate him. I don't know. But I think they're gonna. I mean, they're not letting Jesse L. Martin just walk away on his season-long contract, so he'll be around. What context it is, who knows? And everyone else defunct is in the house. This looks to be true. Hey CG, bad week for superheroes and their head. I was gonna make a joke about that earlier and I forgot. No Batcave, no Star Labs. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, if you're in the business of building superhero places, you're gonna have a busy week. Really good. The Flash and Joe dead. What? It appears so. Their Destroyer. Hello, Fantasy King. Hello, Yusuf. Hello. I don't even know what language that is. I probably could read your name with Google Translate, but I'm so far behind in the chat, I'm not going to. I am looking at it, trying to just like I know a lot of languages. I don't know how to read them, but I can at least recognize them. But I am really struggling with that one. I can't. It would take me 5 minutes, and I'm so far behind in the chat. I am sick too. I'm not blaming you. Oh, well, that's good. Good. Every Arrowverse show on air this week has lost their base of operations. Yeah, it's been a tough week. Andy is here to brag about how much he was right about the episode. Last week or the other day on the chat, I think it was on Eric's or was it mine? I don't remember anymore. But he basically was like, "This episode coming up, big one. You're gonna be crazy. It's nuts." And I was like, "Okay, probably overselling it, but sure, it's probably pretty good." He was not wrong. Unfortunately, Star Labs did not level up. No, it did not, and neither did the Batcave. An idea for a Bat team when they finally get back in there. Maybe, just maybe, try and make that place mobile in the future so that you can just drive it out of there. Flashverse and Arrowverse scene is live stream terrible. Are you asking them if the live stream here is terrible? You missed yesterday's chat. I'm sorry to hear that. I think it's still up on my Twitch, but it is I rewatched it to check a couple things. It's like 96% me just going. So you're not missing a lot. I mean, commercial breaks, I broke some things down and I talked about it for like 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the episode, but there's not nearly as much there as there would be in like one of these live streams. Armageddon got dark, didn't it? I'm digging it. We were temporarily wrong about them not killing off Joe off screen. Pretty sure he won't be dead in the long run. Yeah, I mean, my running theory is I still think this. Excuse me, I just had like continual gas there for a second. Like, I still think this is not reality in Barry's own timeline. I think what's going on, I have two theories right now that kind of overlap, could even be both at the same time. I think one, Barry's stuck in an alternate timeline right now. And the other option is, and it could overlap with that at the same time, is Reverse Flash is just fucking up Barry's life, being Barry, going around in a little red suit, pretending to be Barry. And that's why everyone thinks he's bad. When Chester and Allegra see Barry zip into the house, Reverse Flash would probably know this had already happened. So he just goes there 2 seconds earlier, does some damage and leaves. And they blame it on Barry, making Barry think he's losing his mind. He then after saving or arresting Zotar, takes Zotar away. 2 seconds later, Reverse Flash comes in and starts zapping shit. I'm starting to think this Reverse Flash guy may not be on the good side. So the Joe that is dead could be a Joe from a different timeline. I think that's something we could be dealing with, because they did mention in the articles that we're going to look at alternate timelines. That Woman ep was okay, not the best ever, but okay. 8.3, nothing really happened except for a couple of moments. Okay, well, I got to rewatch it because, like I said, my internet did not help. It's interesting, Batwoman right now. It was really good the couple of weeks leading up to this. This week's, I don't know if it's because I just was distracted by my internet or what, but I wasn't as into this week as other weeks. Maybe when I do a rewatch, I'll be like, oh yeah, I missed a lot. You're good. I'm thumbs up with the spoilers. Well, I mean, that was 32 minutes ago, so by the time I read it, it would have been too late. Legends versus Legends, WTF. Oh, I saw like a minute of that at the end just before Batwoman started. I mean, I shot a scene a couple of weeks ago that suggested this was going to happen. I didn't know all of it at the time, but it was kind of a little obvious that the Legends I shot that week probably weren't the Legends we knew. But yeah, it looks that way, eh? I was screaming at Ryan, do not sign the paper. That would be stupid. It was lackluster mid-final of Batwoman. I think compared to the 2 episodes prior, or 3 episodes prior, I can't remember which episodes or which weeks, I have to agree with you on lackluster compared to those. Still a good episode, though. Thing is, she had to sign that paperwork or else she wasn't going to get the vial to save Mary. So she was stuck between a rock and a hard place there. So Supergirl, the only one with a base. Everyone to the tower. She's not using it. Good point. Yeah, Jason's got a point there. Let's go use Supergirl's base. I mean, there is a new DEO they could use too. Or all the different Supergirl bases. Legends has some confusing villains this season. First Bishop, Gideon, now the Legends themselves are villains. Okay. I did love Marion Alice's story at the bar trying to find negative blood donor. That was a little funny. I missed a couple of scenes. I did see the part where they finally found a donor though. So yeah. Just one question for Batwoman. How many episodes are supposed to be this season? 13. My main issue is that Alice feels disjointed on the show. People have been kind of saying that for a while. It's always... The problem is that character is just the best, so it's hard for them to justify writing her out at this time. So they find reasons to keep her around. You're enjoying Poison Mary, Alice dynamic? Good. I have so far too. Again, tonight's episode didn't connect with me, but I need to rewatch it because I missed parts of it, and I think I missed more of it because of my annoyance at the internet. So how do you test blood type and blood solution in a shot glass? Well, Batwoman showed us. Don't ask me how that worked. I don't know. I'm not a blood expert, but I guess that's a thing that can happen in Gotham. Between Marcus and Poison Mary, I think Poison Mary is a bit more interesting. Well, I think part of that has to do with we have followed Mary for 2.5 seasons. So we have more of an attachment to her character and we're more invested in her storyline. But Marcus, I think, long as the actor is sticking around, I think he rolls into season 4 and is going to be a thorn in the side for a while. I was intrigued by Alice and Mary relations. It was quite well done. I'm up to the point where I finally finished Batwoman Spoilers. I forgot to even tell you guys that I was doing Flash spoilers, and they finished mostly because I think with that the episode's been out for 24 hours. So if you didn't see it yet, I don't know. Mary looked hot in the suit, but the promo pic looked a bit better. Well, the promo pic is, they take their photo, they like edit out the lighting, they edit out any, shade and everything. It should in theory look better than a moving image. It just should. Ryan and Sophie conversation about Sophie sleeping with Renee was down. I didn't even see that part. I saw her say I didn't go home last night, and then my internet was like, you know what, you've seen enough of this. So that's one scene I do have to re-see. A lot of you talking back and forth. Joe's in the behind the scene picture in Star Labs that was taken during the filming of Armageddon. I saw that photo. Who knows what the context of that is? He could have been there getting a COVID test that day. I can't remember. Was he in costume? I can't remember. I'm too far behind in the chat to go looking for it. But he could have just been there getting a COVID test that day. If it was part 5 of the crossover and he was working on part 6, he would have needed 2 clear COVID tests before going to work. So that could have just been what he was there for. Yes, that picture showed him and Eddie together in the same scene. So with some sort of timeline change, they could bring him back. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that there's a history of this happening, but I'm just saying Barry could change the timeline if he wanted to. I think I liked last week's Flash episode more than this week's. Really? Really, Skinny? Really? All right. I disagree with you, but if you liked last week's better, cool. I thought this particular week's was the best episode they've had since I actually can't remember when. I put a poll up on my Twitter asking what do you guys think, and in fact, the final results are finally in, and it was with 14.4% people said it was a top 15 all-time episode on The Flash, with 27.3% top 20 episode, with 27.8% a top 5 episode, and with 30.6% a top 10 episode. I think that's a pretty fair numbers all around. I think I'd put it in the top 10 for sure. I'd have to probably rewatch a lot of stuff to decide if it's top 5, but I think off the top of my head, I can put it in the top 10. That's why I watch those shows on the CW app. Yeah, but I'm too impatient to wait for the CW app. Plus, I mean, I'm an old person, so I am very ingrained in my ways, and I refuse to use apps. Even like the phone I'm on here now, when I got it, I uninstalled a shit ton of apps that were on it for sites that I already technically use, like Instagram and Twitter. I already used those sites, but I uninstalled the apps that were on the phone for those sites. I just don't use them. This week of Flash was okay, but the villain Zotar was weak. Yeah, I would agree. Zotar wasn't amazing. To be fair, Zotar versus pre-leveled up Barry might have been a more fair fight. Hey, Canadagrass, what's up? So who died in the Flash Armageddon episode? I heard someone did. Well, I'm sure that was 30-ish minutes ago. You've probably heard me talk about it by now, so I don't feel I need to reiterate that. I think after Armageddon, there's going to be some timeline changes, perhaps. I like Hawkeye's first 2 episodes and can't wait to see Echo in action, since she's going to have a spin-off, and see Yelena in the show, since she see all these characters I didn't know. Funny enough, I learned this Echo character is getting a spin-off literally today after the episode, and I like looked into the cast list and that, and that's the only way I found out. I don't even know who Echo still is. Was Echo that girl at the end of episode 2? As far as Hawkeye, pretty good. I will say episode 1 was better than episode 2. And I would also say episode 1 was pretty good, but if I were to compare it to other superhero first episodes, I might kind of put it closer to the bottom of the list of shows I've watched. It was very good, but so have all the other ones been for the most part. I'm into it. I like it. I just feel I've seen better. So we'll see. Whatever is going on with Joe will be resolved at the end of the event with Joe alive. I do think it's hinting at Joe having a health issue this season after Armageddon, though. I don't know about that. Zotar was the most makeup, but yeah, the most shit villain of the Flash. I'm sure people would disagree. There's probably been worse. Despero may want to kill Barry, but he's really not coming off as a villain to me. I don't think he is a villain. I think he is a guy who in the grand scheme of things, has good intentions, but is misinformed. He's only got the knowledge of what happens in 2031 to go off of. He doesn't have the backstory filled in yet. So all he knows is the Barry he sees in 2031, a villain. He doesn't know that that might not be the Barry from 2021, because the Barry he sees in 2031 might not actually be Barry Allen. Flash was Ep was insane. Even I was going bonkers, then Barry bonkers after. But what the hell? Okay, I can't reread that because my brain will explode. Batwoman was great. Really? Okay. I mean, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about. I've already forgot your name. You've told me before. Vasily. I don't remember what it is anymore. But I explained why I haven't considered it great yet. I needed a full rewatch of it. I'm liking the villain of the weeks for this season so far. On which show? Despero CGI still looks good. Yes, it does. Okay. Marcus underhandedly took Wayne Enterprises from Ryan. Ryan was busy with her so-called family secrets, and it's come back to bite her in the butt. Yep. That's a good breakdown of the way it went. And the worst part of all of it is she gave it up for something that the person she tried to give it to didn't even want it, and now it's destroyed. So double suck. Zotar just showed up, and a little scene she had wasn't very interesting to me either. Okay. It seems most people didn't care for Zotar, and fair enough. Zotar, I think, was just a side distraction to move the plot along for his insanity stuff. I don't think we were supposed to think of Zotar as a long-term thing. Just like last week with Royal Flush Gang, just there long enough to fill in some screen time and move on. Malik enjoyed Zotar. I think it's Felicity or Oliver, and also Tom Cavanaugh. Where's Matt? I'm not surprised they have Matt Tom instead. You think it's Felicity or Oliver? Oh, that Mia's coming back to save? Well, it's not Oliver, and it's not Felicity. I mean, neither of them. I mean, if it's one of them, I would say Felicity, because, I mean, she's unemployed, so maybe she took the job, but Steven wasn't here. I mean, Emily Bett lives in Vancouver, so they could have got her. I don't think they did, though. No, fucking, she's in the void with Oliver. No, it wasn't either of them. Tom Cavanaugh, where's Matt? Matt was just in town literally recently for like 2 or 3 weeks, and no one yet knows what he was here for. I don't think it's the Flash, just because just I have enough information loosely connected to the Flash still that I think I would have heard if Matt Letcher was in town for that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always understood it made sense because Tom was on the payroll already. You don't want to throw away money you don't need to. But now that he's not, I don't know what the reason would be. Don't watch Bebo episode. It looks cringy. I finally watched the trailer for it today, and it does look awful. Like, god-awful. I probably will still watch it because it's Bebo, but it looks fucking atrocious. I fully think Lucius Fox is Ryan's biological father. I wouldn't like that, but I would be shocked if they don't do that. I don't think so. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think so. It was a fever dream. My mind was all over the place. Okay. We're 2 seasons in a row where the last few minutes of episode 2, crazy stuff was happening. Yeah, I mean, I remember episode 2 last season being really, really, really good, and I can't remember what it was about. I mean, I know it was with Mirror Mistress storyline and all that stuff. Can't remember it right now. Episode 2 of The Flash was so good. Everybody was so shocked and still confused on what's going on. Eric Wallace wasn't joking when he said it was going to be Barry's worst day. Yes, exactly. That line where he said in that article that this is going to be Barry's worst day, I was kind of like, all right. I mean, Barry's had some bad days. I mean, some really bad days. What could they possibly do? And by the time the second thing had happened, like when he lost his job, I'm kind of like, well, that's not the worst day he's ever had. And then when he lost Star Labs, I'm like, shit's piling up on his plate pretty quick here. I don't know what they're going to add to that plate, but we're getting close to worst bad day territory now. And then they added the Joe thing, and I'm just like, what the hell? Vasily loves Mary as Poison Ivy. Noted. Despero manipulating Barry more than Thawne did. So how the fuck did he do that? How did he manipulate Barry? 802 remind me of Stargirl season 2, since you are constantly thinking if what you are watching is real or not. Okay. I mean, I love Mary in general, but she's even cooler than Poison Ivy. You probably won't get an argument. I've loved Mary's character from the beginning, so you know, I can't sit here and like. I mean, I wish I had ordinary Mary Hamilton back too, but Poison Mary kind of looks pretty cool so far, and I'm curious to see more. I don't know why, but I feel like Joe shouldn't be dead. I think a lot of people are skeptical of it. Have to see Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy next year. Yeah. Yeah, it's I wrote down the date for the return. Was it January 12th? Where are my notes from today's episode? I've lost them. I have all these notes for the Flash episode on my desk, but oh, that's right. I was writing them down here. Yeah, January 12th is when Batwoman's next episode is, by the way. That Super Saiyan lightning thing on Zotar Barry did was dope. Was that when, like, I don't know what a Super Saiyan is. I've heard the term, but I don't know what it is. You're talking like when he was in the air and he did his little lightning thing? Yeah, that was. Because they said OG Poison Ivy debuts in episode 8. Yes, that is correct. I've heard that same thing too, but I don't know that to be sure. Star Labs was shut down too. What? Yes, Malik, it was. Did you not watch the episode? Meme of the night? Psh, no. Sure. Wait, is the Legends evil now? I don't know. I haven't watched any of the episodes. The most I watched episode 100. I watched the episode after that by dumb luck because I forgot that it came on first. And then all I've seen outside of that is like the 1 minute before Batwoman starts on any given week. So I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I'm glad Supergirl and Martian Manhunter was addressed perfectly satisfied, clean and easy explanation. I'm happy it was there. See, and I have questions about that because why are they off world? Where the hell did they go? Why aren't we hearing about whatever that problem is? Why would they leave Earth? Now where the hell is Superman puttering around on the farm? LOL, they should have thrown him in the space mission with Kara and John, kill all 3 birds with 1 stone. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Getting rid of Star Labs would probably free up some money for them. For who? In what context? Are you talking about the production team or are you talking about Barry? Because I don't understand in either way. All kidding aside, Alex is in the event, so it makes sense to address Kara and John. Sure. So the Reverse Flash versus Flash in episode 5 will be the last? Do you mean will episode 5 be the last of the crossover? Yes. If you mean the last fight between Reverse Flash and Flash, probably not. Because they even like literally write in there that for him to do this would like have dire consequences or something like that. So they're already basically writing themselves out of not doing it. The dude that shut down the lab worked for CCDBS. At this point, what's the point at making that an acronym? I don't know. I'm happy they addressed Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, but yeah, that seems to be the question everyone's asking about Superman now. Literally confusing how legends are hilariously stupid. No, they are evil. I guess. CCDBS shut down Star Labs right after CCTC was held at the CCCC with members of CCCM attending located. Why? Why are you doing this to me? I need you all to just sit there and read this for a second to yourselves. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we heard on Batwoman tonight them bringing up GC jitters. I always thought the brand was CC jitters. I did not know they renamed it by the city. So yeah, there's a jitters in Gotham City. Did you like episode 2 more than 1? Yes. Or wait, which show are we talking about? I like episode 1 more because it had more action, although the back half of episode 2 was crazy. We have to be talking about The Flash, right? Yeah, I liked episode 2 way more. And he just put in Black Lightning. I don't know what that is in reference to at this point, because that would have been 33 minutes ago. How am I not catching up at all to the chat? I know it's too early, but what was the point of Allegra's character? It's better if she stays in Central City Media. She has powers. The original Legends. Okay, I'm not reading any more Legends stuff because I don't have an input on it. I've been through some rough times with multiple deaths and huge changes, etc. But the day poor Barry had really takes the cake. A mental break would be understand. Yeah. I mean, I've had some rough months that would probably rival what Barry's going through. So I get it for, it is a lot for someone to process. She doesn't contribute much to Team Flash. She just states the obvious. Okay. Iris said, Barry, you scaring me. Barry was like, shut up. I know he didn't just say that. Whereas Joe found it extremely funny. Okay. Okay. I don't like how the team kind of dismissed Barry's feelings on the situation. He's obviously very confused and traumatized, and they're giving him the cold shoulder. I understand them giving him the cold shoulder because they're kind of like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Everybody knows this. You gave the goddamn eulogy. Like, I would also be skeptical of someone if they were like, I don't remember this happening 6 months ago. Be like, you literally were there. Here's a photo of you giving the eulogy. Like, I would be skeptical of that person. We are at 9:08. We have a Mr. Gary Gammon down here waiting to ask a question, and that question is, if I ever get to the bottom, are you mad at me? Or are you proud of me? I am not mad at you, Gary. Unless you killed Joe. Did you kill Joe, Gary? Gary? Was this you? Joe just happens to not be around, but you're asking me if I'm mad at you? A little suspicious, Gary. Am I proud of you? Sometimes. But if you killed Joe, I'll be less proud. Nope, not me. All right, Gary, you're off the hook. I've finished my investigation, and you seem innocent. Okay, 9:08. The Justice League theme at the end was beautiful. It was just so good to feel like I was watching the Justice League animated series. Okay. I am so surprised the fire's still lit from Crisis. I'm not. I mean, there's all sorts of eternal flame type things that are on around the world that stay lit all the time, or that are set on a timer. That's not rare. The fact that Barry said Injustice gives me a clue what they're trying to do there. Yeah, I know there's an Injustice storyline in DC, so I also was curious about that for me. Even though I've never watched it, I'm aware it's a thing. So kind of curious where that's going. Give me 1 minute here, guys. I just got to grab a drink and go to the washroom. All right. Yeah, the Injustice thing. I heard that too, and like I said, I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. So curious. The harshness of the reactions from the rest of the team that makes me pretty sure this is not reality or a final timeline or whatever. I'm not entirely sure, though, which I like. It's a good point. I mean, this team is logical enough that they've been through so many crazy things that this should just be another week for them. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up from that episode that I really liked? I really liked that Killer Frost was like the only one that was like, what do we do if we have to take down Barry? Everybody else was like, all right, we'll sort this out. Barry's good. We'll sort it out. And Frost is kind of, when Barry's like, we'll deal with whatever the problem is when it comes up. And she's like, what if you're the problem? Like, she's the only one that was there. Like, we have to have a plan for him. Like, yeah. The directing during this episode was amazing. The same guy's doing part 5. The scene of Barry learning about Joe's death in Chester's house was so uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable only because I kind of nitpick, Arrowverse acting at times, but Grant on some occasions can bring it, and he did in that scene. So that's why, okay, so it was episode 2 he directed. Okay. It's weird that he's getting 2 of the episodes. So I'm at 8:11. I know Gary had a super chat just before I left, so let me try and find that before I forget it. Do you think Alice, Sophie, Luke, and Mary will stay on the show? Well, Luke and Mary, I would be blown away shocked if they ever got rid of them, because they've literally given them massive storylines. Batwing and a Poison Ivy 2.0, those characters aren't going away. Sophie is always the question mark out of those 4. Alice is a bit of a question mark. I think Alice is too valuable from an entertainment standpoint. They will always find a way of shoving her in. Sophie's expendable right now. What does Sophie add? Nothing. She's Renee Montoya's fling. I know there's like shippers out there that like, she's got to be Ryan's love. Like, you knew this Ryan girl for a fucking year. Before that, you had Sophie hooked up with Kate Kane. You don't care. You just want Sophie to hook up with whoever Batwoman is. She's expendable right now. Right now, she is expendable. I don't think she will be eliminated from the show. But if there is one of those 4 people and they're like, all right, we need to cut some fat off the salary, she's the expendable one. I don't think she's going anywhere though, Gary. For now. Another super chat from Gary down here. It's got 99 cents. Oh, we had a question right before. Do you think Mary will be a villain forever? No, I do not. I will be disappointed if that is the case. I like the little switch right now, and I think it'll add even more to an already filled up character of tragedy that she's been, but I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. All right, back to 9/11. No ship, no Star Lab, and also no Bat Cave. Oh yeah, Legends lost their place too. I forgot. Yeah, everybody's missing their headquarters right now. Does Superman and Lois have a headquarters? I guess the Fortress of Solitude, but that's kind of only Superman's. The use of shaky cam during some scenes, like when Barry learns of Joe's death, was very effective. I can't say I noticed. I'm not a director, so I don't really notice little details like that. Level up such an annoying catchphrase. You take that back. The slant camera work was weird in the episode, though. Okay. Little did we know Andy undersold how nuts part 2 was. I definitely undersold it. Andy warned us. Blake Neely and Nathaniel Bloom are legends. Their score for this episode was great too. Okay. Despero, manipulative, Legends trades. Okay, I'm done with Legends post. If you guys ask me about Legends, I'm just scrolling past it because I haven't watched enough this season to have an opinion on it. Oh, by the way, I was disappointed that we didn't see Caitlin ask Desperado on a date. Yeah, she did say she was going to start dating. Logically, shouldn't she go for him? So in the episode, by the way, yeah. So in the episode, early on, Alex is talking to Caitlin, and she's like, "That guy I told you about or introduced you to from like something to do with the information she needed, Marcus." I'm assuming not the same Marcus from Batwoman, but I am sure this character is coming up down the line, and there will probably be some villainous thing to him. This Marcus guy will eventually pop up on the Flash. Caitlin will eventually hook up with him, and yeah. If they do alternate timelines, they could use that opportunity to introduce Blitzkrieg, an evil version of Barry who appeared in the animated version of the Earth X crossover in live action. I mean, they could introduce trillions of characters, but they're not going to. They're not going to complicate a TV show. This isn't a comic book series. They need it to be something an average viewer who doesn't sit online and read everything about it can still follow. Since later this season we'll be dealing with the time phasing, they could keep Joe's death in present time, and we could see Joe in different timelines, and we could see how Joe does. Okay, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know how Iris's time sickness thing really is going to work, but you could have a point. Could Mary become an anti-hero for Team Bat? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm so confused with her character right now. I don't know what to think. I think people will be asking a lot of questions about her until she's either cured or full on becomes the new Poison Ivy somehow. Well, even though Iris having a time sickness, how the fuck does this crossover affect Iris and Barry's relationship? I think you saw it last episode. Literally, Iris is there like, "You're scaring me, Barry," and she is not vibing with Barry at the moment. At least more than likely for Mary is she'll eventually be cured and lose her powers and split personality, but I like her to stay Poison Ivy 2.0. I don't think I want that permanently, but we'll see. I liked how Team Batwoman had their people in their respective positions. There's Batwoman. She has Luke for tech and sometimes in the field, and then she had Mary for medical advice. I like the way this team worked. Yeah, so I kind of hope to get back to that. Do we need to start drinking game? Do we need to start a drinking game for the Flash every time they say level up? Well, that first week you would have ended up going to the hospital for alcohol poisoning if you're drinking alcohol. Yesterday's episode, I think they only said it twice, actually. If they said it a third time, I forgot. You voted top 5 in the poll? All right. Mary should keep her powers without Ivy's influence and use them to protect Gotham with Team Batwoman. That'd be interesting if they can make that work somehow. Because Mary, as the sympathetic person who's like, plants are, wonderful. We need help from plants. Actually would make sense for Mary because she's always trying to do good. What episode does the original Poison Ivy appear in Batwoman? Episode 8. Or as Destroyer put it, episode Duck. What type of spell check problem did you have there, Destroyer? I don't know who Echo is. Neither do I, Malik. But she was apparently in the episode, and apparently is getting a spin-off, weirdly enough. Arrowverse enjoyed episode 2 of Hawkeye more than episode 1. I was the exact opposite, but that's okay. I didn't hate episode 2. I just didn't. It wasn't wowing me. Episode 1 was better than 2, but it was really fantastic. The comedy was so funny, though. Yeah, they did have some good, funny moments. Did you notice that Ryan had similar hairstyle to Jada did? I did not. Gary killed Joe? Oh, no. Well, Gary, we have someone claiming you killed him. You're gonna need to defend yourself there, Gary, because Brian is claiming you killed him. All right, we're at 9:30. I caught up a few minutes. I actually caught up almost 10 minutes on you guys. That's good. But we have another super chat here from Mr. Gary Gammon. Actually, that's the old super chat. Dope. We have this Gary Gammon super chat, which was followed up with this Gary Gammon question. Do you think The Flash will get a season 9 and the other shows get renewed? Probably. I mean, Batwoman, Superman and Lois, and Stargirl are as close to a sure thing as you can get. The Flash all comes down to whether Grant re-signs again. And what show am I missing out of the bunch? Legends. I'm starting to more and more start to think Legends might survive somehow. We are so late in this season's process that unless they know behind the scenes already what's going on, they would have already had to write the finale. So they would have had to been warned a while ago, and they could be keeping it hush-hush that it's the final season, but it would be weird to not have announced it by now. All right, back to 9:30. No, I said I like this week's episode more than last. Oh, okay. Sorry, I guess I misread something earlier. To me, Barry leveled down. Psychologically, I guess he did. Mia's coming to save her brother. Again, that would... I don't think so, because I don't think that actor came into town. I think it's going to be someone completely unrelated that we don't even know. It's going to be like fucking Maud that worked at the coffee shop she really had a friendship with. Like, it's going to be something I think that we're not going to really know the character. My theory. Barry went God mode on the psychic. Yeah. It's either William or Connor. Maybe it could be William again. I don't think so. I don't think that actor was in town. Alex gave us a bad reason for why Kara and John are not around. I agree. I mean, she gave us a reason, and that's all we're going to get. But, yeah, it just makes more questions. I don't even anyone cares about Santa if it was there. Frost became speedster and Barry had speed thinking. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, that was the episode 2. Right, yeah, okay. Canada Grass came back. I always come back. I never went anywhere. I mean, I did for a minute to go to the washroom, but I don't think your post is from that long ago. Is Team Flash broke now and with no money? I don't know. Good question. I mean, Barry could just go rob a train if he needs to. I don't know. Despero manipulative. Someone said that a couple times now. Just the actual Canada Grass from Twitter who takes set photos. Yes. Hello, React Out Loud. Yes, I am the same one from Twitter. If Legends would tone down, just not reading any Legend stuff. Gary is the reason why Joe randomly died off screen. Jeez, Brian's just going in on you, Gary. You might need a lawyer, Gary. How many episodes for Batwoman this season? 13. Both January 12th for Batwoman and Legends coming back. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense that they would line them up. No memes. It's nighttime. Okay. Any Granial news? I don't know what that means. Oh, you mean Grant and Danielle? No, there's been no news on the Flash for weeks. I haven't caught them out in a while. I meant for the Flash production team. I remember you asking a question. Oh, about the Star Labs. No, I actually think that would be more complicated for them because they would have to tear all that down. That would be a couple of days of work for them to do that. And usually for set, you build up pieces, you don't take them down. Once you build a piece, you kind of want to make use of that piece. You might redesign it a little bit, like they've done with the Arrow Cave a couple of times and things like that. But once you've built up a piece, you're kind of like, we're finding a use for this piece, like it or not. So no, it would be more work for them to tear that down. Yeah, because most shows, they have their primary studio that they use. That would be obviously where Star Labs and a couple of other things probably are. And then they will have a secondary studio where they would have smaller pieces. Like for Arrow secondary studio had like Star City Police Department, which had gone on, had a couple of redevelopments over the years. That was in their secondary place. It was also the apartment for like secondary characters that weren't Olicity. They had that in their secondary studio. Flash is the same thing. Flash has a secondary studio. I don't know what's in their secondary studio because I've never really pieced it together. But their main one would have Star Labs in it, and that unless they need another massive set to build, they're not tearing all of that down. That would be like 6 set pieces they would have to tear down. And there would be the main room, there'd be the Gideon room, there would be the hallway, there would be the little loft area where they sometimes hang out. Like there's too many set pieces. There would be the place where they keep all the villains in the bottom. They would have so many pieces that they would have to take apart. That would be a lot of time that they're just throwing away. So I think it would actually be harder on them. They're going to find a way to still use the Star Labs. They might, I mean, if they do a thing where they're like, oh, we have to rebuild Star Labs, they might tinker the design a little bit, maybe take one wall out, put a new wall in, but 97% of what they've already built, they'll reuse. Catwoman leave with Batman and the rest of the Bat family. I have no idea. Kara's on vacation visiting her parents on Argo City, and John went to Mars. I guess in theory that's not impossible, but they didn't explain that to us. No, I don't want to read that. Ha. Arrowverse, the funniest sentence I ever read. What if Stephen Amell appears in Hawkeye for a cameo? Well, he won't. Arrow's coming. All right. In season 3. GC Jitters was mentioned before. Oh, okay. Gary got Joe randomly die. Gary, explain it. Did you kill Joe? Gary is now a suspect. Oh, Gary, you're gonna need a lawyer, man. Failed this. Oh, poor Gary. Gary is the anti-monitor. Oh, Gary. Gary killed Joe because he wasn't allowed to appear in Hawkeye. Oh, all right, I guess. Gary is the Thanos of this thing. He snapped poor Joe away, except in this version of events, Joe didn't come back yet. Ooh. I bet Gary is stalking CG right now. Gary? Okay, I don't see him. It's already 10:05, guys. I need to wrap this up soon. So I'm putting in the chat right now the most dreaded of comments. And I'm still like 30 minutes behind the chat, so I might zoom through some of these really quick. Any comments beyond this point that are not super chats will almost certainly be ignored due to time. And send. Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can catch up to the chat fast. Gary is an Avenger level threat. Okay. I don't think Reverse Flash is the one causing this. My theory is that Gary, it's Gary who gave Barry his worst day, possibly killed Joe, and maybe stole his face so he could look like him and dance around. You guys. Oh no. There's going to be like an entire section of fanfic about Gary being a villain now. We got a Scooby-Doo crap and find out how to bring Joe back. He was mad that Marvel wouldn't let Stephen Amell have a cameo in Hawkeye. Okay. Do you think I answered that one. Alice is the glue. She brings a level of entertainment that none of the other ones do. The other ones are good characters. They just don't have that type of entertainment level. Sophie is such a useless person. I said that to a fan on Twitter. This ship ain't happening. They got mad at me. The ships are fucking toxic. I think the ship is happening, unfortunately. I just don't know when. They'll get past their like stupid little squabble eventually, and the writers will screw up and put them together. Sophie is supposed to be fight, but she always getting knocked out, and Ryan has to save her. Yeah, Sophie, for a trained military level training, is the most useless military level training person I've ever met. She gets knocked out on the regular, in the easiest ways possible. The only person with a softer head than her is Jacob. Also, Kate Bishop's apartment caught on fire this week, so that's another kind of base con this week. That's Marvel, though. Yeah, I didn't even get to really talk about Hawkeye on here. Damn. Fortress of Solitude was destroyed by Morgan Edge in season 1 of Superman and Lois. Sophie has military training, but yet she's completely useless. Yeah. The writers need to find a way to give Sophie a cause to fight for and incorporate her into a strong storyline. Yeah, I don't know what you do with her right now. I don't have a good answer to that. Snowberry should happen. Okay. Good luck with that. Only superhero headquarters still standing is the Hall of Justice. Good point. I guess technically you're right. The Arrow Cave technically is still standing. It's just inactive. Joe is like a father to us. Yeah, okay. So if he was so good with the crows, maybe she can join. Joe was a grandfather to you. Okay. Why did I like episode 1 of Hawkeye more than episode 2? Episode 2 just wasn't amazing. Episode 1 wasn't amazing, yeah, either. It was just better than episode 2. I still think Quentin Lance is the best father. Hey, Caroline, I see you got here at 9:58. I guess you got to hear a few minutes of it live, I guess. I'm about to wrap it up in a few minutes as soon as I get caught up here. I need to get caught up on Legends. I'm 2 episodes behind. I am dozens of episodes behind. Gary did make them get stuck in time. I don't know what that means. I'd say the day when Barry got infected from Ramsey and had that mental breakdown in his mind and turned into Dark Flash was probably his worst day so far, but Armageddon could turn out to be worse. I forgot about that day. That day wasn't very good for him. Joe and Henry Allen have been great father figure types. I'm too old to specifically think of them that way, but I think Henry deserves a mention. Most of his parenting done from behind bars. Yeah. I think Kara went to Argo. She wanted to see her parents together, and they do mention John and McGon. So yeah, I understand the context of it, but unless you watch those shows and you analyze all of the scenes and all that stuff, most people wouldn't understand why Supergirl's off planet. Titan's Batcave headquarters is also intact. Oh, okay. CG is over party. Oh, okay. I don't know what I did this time. Just scrolling through the after moment comments. All right, I think I am caught up to you guys. So that's it for today. Next week, there is no Batwoman next week. So I don't know what I'm going to do for a schedule for the next few weeks. No Batwoman to follow up. Maybe I'll move it to Tuesday nights. I will do the live discussion on Twitch and then move to a live chat here after? Question mark? I think that might be what I do for the next 3 weeks. But again, I can't say with certainty because my schedule is never etched in stone because of the way my job is. So just check in the community tabs if I'm having one that day. Usually I post about an hour and a half before I actually do it. And by that point, I will know if I'm out of the house or not that day. In that right now sounds like my probable plan. We will see come next week where I am with that. But until then, thanks for coming by today. If Wednesdays are the day that you can tune in and you're gonna not be able to come here on Tuesdays, sorry to see you go for a little while, but they will be back in January. So we will probably catch up then. All right. Have a good one and take care, everybody. Bye.